Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chloe and today I'm going to be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. So I've just got the questions written down here. I'm not going to be answering all of them, but I'm going to do most of them just because for some of them I didn't have answers. So I'm just going to read them off and see how we go. So question 1 is, why did you start this channel? So obviously I love reading and I love collecting books, I always have, but one of the main reasons why I started this channel is to get more involved with the community side of things. I have been using Bookstagram now for about the past year, but I'm not the best at remembering to post, so I'm hoping having this channel will also allow me to interact more with the Booktube community. Question 2 is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? There aren't too many things for this. There are so many amazing booktubers out there, I'm not quite sure what more I can add, but one thing that I do want to do sometime in the future is hopefully design my own TBR game, because those are one of the videos that I enjoy watching the most. And I've had a few ideas floating around, but nothing concrete yet, and I would like to give it a go at some point. Question 3 is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I've kind of covered this before. It's mainly getting more involved with the book community and just chatting to other people who enjoy the same books that I do. Question 4 is, why do you love reading? I really like reading because it allows me to discover new worlds and new stories, and yeah, it's just escapism really. I enjoy it more than watching TV shows or movies most of the time. There are some exceptions, but I just really love getting lost in a book and not wanting to do anything else, and I think it's one of the best things in the world, honestly. Question 5 is, what book or series got you into reading? This was kind of hard to answer because I've always been reading, but I think one of the main ones for me was the Rainbow Magic books by Daisy Meadows. I don't know if anyone remembers these. So the first series had the first 7 colours of the rainbow, and each story had a red fairy, then the orange fairy, and there would be little mini adventures within these books. And there are so many of them now. I think they've got some for seasons and pets, and so every series they just have 7 new books with 7 new fairies, and those were really good. Obviously Harry Potter is another one. That was one of my childhood favourites, but one that's really shaped my reading now, I would say, is the Vampirates series by Justin Somper. I discovered this whilst I was in secondary school, and it kick-started my vampire phase that I still haven't got out of, but yeah, I read those even before I got to Twilight and I loved them. I need to reread them soon, so yeah, I'd probably say Vampirates mostly, because that's shaped my reading today, but those other ones were also important. Question 6, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be and the hardest to overcome? So for me, this is probably the hardest is going to be getting used to talking in front of the camera. I've never done this before. I've only really just started getting more confident talking to other people in person, and this is completely new. So if I'm talking too quickly or whatever, that's why, and I'm hoping I'll just ease more into it as I go. But the other main one for me is video editing, because aside from the first video I uploaded last week, I've never done any video editing before in my life, and I'm currently just getting used to Windows Video Editor, and that's enough for me for right now. Hoping it will get easier as it goes, I'm sure it does, but for now those are my 2 biggest challenges to overcome with this channel. Question 7 is, when did you start reading? I can't really remember. I've always remembered loving reading and loving books. I'd say probably about the ages of 7 to 8 is when I started reading the Rainbow Magic books and really got into wanting to read all of the time, but I have been reading my whole life really. Question 8 is, where do you read? Anywhere really, mainly the sofa or the bed. I always take a book in the bath though, that's one of my favourite places to read. And in the summer or spring, if it's dry and nice, I will take a book outside and read. I do want to start going outside of my garden and reading a bit more, so trying to read in some coffee shops or out on fields or stuff, just to break it up a bit, but for now those are my favourite places to read. Question 9. What kind of books do you like to read? So I'd say my favourite genre is fantasy. I really love fantasy books, primarily urban fantasies and fantasy romance that I've recently gotten into. I have enjoyed a few high fantasies like Game of Thrones and stuff like that, but I'm still easing in to that side of fantasy. Aside from that, I'd say vampire books, paranormal books, those are some of my favourites and some that I really enjoy. And also dystopian books. As with vampires, I went through a massive dystopian phase, and I still pick up the odd one now and again today. I also really enjoy thrillers. I tend to go charity shop hunting, book hunting in charity shops, and I tend to get a lot of thrillers from them because I really enjoy them when I pick them up. It's just not one of my go-to genres, I'd say. Genres that I read less of would definitely be historical fiction, sci-fi and non-fiction, although I have been reading a bit more historical fiction lately and I do read sci-fi in and out, but I'd say those are the genres that I tend not to pick up as much. Question 10 is, what does your book collection look like? So in my room where I'm sat now, it's almost like my office where I've got my bookshelves and my PC set up. I've got 3 standard size bookshelves. I've got these 2 which are mainly paperbacks. I've got one across from me which are hardbacks, and then in here I've also got a half shelf, and I tend to put my really nice Fairy Loot editions or my favourite books on there. And then out in the hallway I also have another half shelf with some of my Agatha Christie's, my Series Unfortunate Events books and Aragon books, and these are just books that I share with my partner. Usually I don't let people touch my books, but those ones we share and read together. So yeah, that's what my book collection looks like. I also do have a book trolley, but it doesn't have many books on it at the moment. It's mainly charges and random miscellaneous stuff like that, but I have started adding books on there that I'm possibly wanting to unhaul, but I want to read first before I make that decision. So those were all the questions on the Booktube Newbie Tag. I will write which ones I answered in the description below. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to releasing videos. I'm hopefully going to be uploading once a week. Fridays I'm hoping to stick to, but I'll see where I go from there. But that's all for today, guys. Bye!